Hey everyone, finished watching the next Power Rangers Dino Thunder episode, Beneath the Surface. I think this might be the worst episode so far. Trent is trying to find the Invisiportal he went through last episode. His father asks him what he's doing, and Trent answers absolutely honestly. So understandably, his father thinks something weird is going on with Trent, and they talk for a while, and this whole thing is really weird. Trent sounds nuts. Mercer sounds like a cold, calculating villain this whole time. Which, I mean, he is, but we're not supposed to know that yet. This whole scene, it means nothing. The whole scene is pointless. This never comes back again in this episode. Trent never shows up again. Mercer never shows up again. Asterisk. Also, the music is weird in this scene. Like, most of the time, it's kind of tense music, so it kind of fits the scene. But then there'll be parts where there's, like, goofy beats in it, like boom, 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 boom. Like, is this supposed to be a funny scene? I mean, I know it's a result of probably they're using stock music, but couldn't you, like, mix those little bumps out or something? At the island fortress, Elsa reveals to Zeltrax what looks like an egg. This egg looks like a Dinozord egg, and that's all the information we get about it. At school, Tommy is going to be hosting a field trip to a fossil dig site, I think. Principal Randall invites herself along. Cassidy thinks Randall has a crush on Dr. O after she sees them share some banter with each other. That doesn't really go anywhere either. So Ethan finds an egg, and it looks like the one Elsa had earlier. Principal Randall comes over, and she really wants to see it, and to avoid raising suspicion, Tommy decides to hand it to her, and then suddenly Tyrannodrones attack. Cassidy and Devin decide to stay and film the ensuing attack, while Tommy cartoonishly defends Randall and the egg. Randall's holding the egg, and Tommy tosses her up in the air, fights off some Tyrannodrones, catches her again, and it's kinda like a little overly goofy, even for Power Rangers. I don't know, the tone is really weird in this season so far. The Tyrannodrones eventually leave, and then Tommy and the Rangers study the egg in Tommy's lab, and there's some weird stuff about it. Like, it's definitely a Dinozord egg, but it doesn't give off any kind of life signs or anything. We cut back to the dig site. Randall digs up an identical egg buried in the dirt, and then she turns into Elsa, and the music swells like this was supposed to be a big dramatic reveal. We already know Elsa is Randall. Why is it? And so that made me wonder, what was the dramatic reveal music supposed to be about? That her egg is the real one and they have a fake one? I'll get to that at the end. Tommy's lab, Dr. O detects a heat signature from the dig site, so he goes back to look for another egg, and then suddenly Zeltrax attacks, and that goes on for an eternity. Elsa has already caused the egg to hatch into the Dimetrozord. At the lab, the Rangers open their egg, but inside is not a Zord, it's a message from Elsa mocking them. Moving on. They see the Dimetrozord attacking, so they try to stop it with their own Zords. Tommy is still fighting Zeltrax, who eventually retreats to Mesagog. Mesagog orders him to send a new monster. Back with the Rangers, the Zords are getting beaten up by the new Dimetrozord. They can barely stand. The Tyrannosaurus Zord is on the ground, can't get up to fight, and the Dimetrozord burrows underground and gets away. Just then the new monster appears. And then the Zords are all totally fine. This is one of the weirdest edits in this episode. Like, so much in this episode is stuff happens, and then we switch to some other stuff happening, and there's not a whole lot of connection going on. But here especially, what was the point of showing the Dinozords getting all beaten up, but then they're just totally fine to go and fight the monster? What? The Zords form the Megazord, and they fight the new monster. Tommy contacts the Rangers and tells them they need the Dimetrozord to defeat the monster. Elsa still controls it, though. So, back at Tommy's lab, Tommy takes a morpher and presses a button, and then the Dimetrozord is their ally. There was no obstacle to overcome, there was no clever workaround to outwit the villains, or no attempt to tame the Dimetrozord or anything. It's just, you press a button. You press a button. You know, when I started rewatching Dino Thunder, I was like, you know what, this time I'm gonna try really hard to see what it was people liked so much about this season, because in the past, I haven't liked Dino Thunder a whole lot. It's always been kind of like a weaker season to me, but this time around, I really wanted to look into it and see, like, I wanted to see what other people saw in it. Like, I wanted to watch an episode and be like, wow, I totally get it now. Now I see what people saw in it. And I saw that in the first episode, but not really any since, especially this one. This one's just garbage. They get the Dimetrozord to form with the Megazord, and with its power, they defeat the new monster. Mesagog threatens his minions for a while, and then tells Elsa to continue gaining Tommy's trust. At school the next day, Cassidy does a news story about Principal Randall fighting off Tyrannodrones. Evan mistakenly plays a tape of him watching a flower bloom. There's one gag with the Rangers talking to Dr. O about how him and Randall would make a good couple, and Tommy's like, you gotta be kidding. And Connor has, like, the one bright spot in this episode. Boy, how often is that gonna happen, that, like, Connor is the best thing in an episode? Connor makes a joke, hey, Dr. O, I thought you liked dinosaurs. That's a good one. Anyway, this is a weird episode, full of constantly filled with things that just go nowhere. It reminds me of DC Universe movies where they have the habit of filling their movies with setups for future movies instead of focusing on the present movie. So it's a bunch of setup with no payoffs. Trent and his father at the beginning, they never make another appearance after that scene initially. Elsa and the egg is just really confusing. Which egg is which? There's at least two eggs. There's the one that she shows Zeltrax at the beginning, and then there's the one that Ethan finds. And it's unclear if she switched the eggs. Like, it's heavily implied she switched her egg, which was a fake egg, for the egg Ethan found, which was the real egg. If the real egg wasn't the egg that she had, why did she bother going through this whole convoluted plan of switching it? Why didn't she just use an invisiportal to go to the location and get the egg? Why bother with the fake egg at all? It doesn't make any, like, I guess that's why she invites herself along on the field trip, but I feel like this would work better as if she already knew that Tommy was planning the field trip, and she didn't care. But then later on, she finds out that the reason that he's doing the field trip is to find a Dinozord egg. And then that's when she wants to invite herself along. But as it is, like, I don't know what's going on. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens. There's another weird thing when they're at the fossil dig site. Tommy digs up a trilobite, and he's explaining what it is to Principal Randall, and it feels like it's presented as if it's supposed to be important, but it really isn't. It never comes back. The trilobite's meaningless. Cassidy and Devin are funny here, but they don't really serve a whole lot of purpose. Now, I was thinking that Devin would, like, he's filming the whole fight with the Tyrannodrones. Oh, they're gonna do like what they did back in Mighty Morphin when they were doing that cleanup club thing, and they left a camera there, the Rangers morphed on camera, and it was recorded. So then at the end, Bulk and Skull have the tape of the Rangers morphing, and they're about to expose their identity, and then Billy switches out the tape. Huh. Switching things and recorded fights are a theme. Huh. That's weird. In that episode, though, it doesn't really go anywhere. In here, though, it doesn't even begin to go anywhere. They want to record the fight, and that's it. The only payoff is at the end, and it's really weak. All it is Cassidy saying, Principal Randall fought off Tyrannodrones, and then there's a video of Devin watching a flower bloom. That's it. That's all the payoff it is, and it's pretty meaningless. Tommy and Zeltrax fight again, and it just eats up time. It doesn't mean anything. What was the whole point of showing the Zords getting beaten up by the Dimetrozord? It doesn't mean anything. Why show them getting fatigued on the ground, barely able to get up, if you're just going to have them get up totally fine to fight the monster not even a second later? Oh yeah, and the monster's name is Scorpex. It's in the end credits, and for some reason I found that really funny. Not its name, just more the fact that they gave it a name at all. Like, what was the point? Why did it need a name? It doesn't even does it even have a voice? I don't remember if it even talked. Oh yeah, the Dimetrozord being taken under control by Tommy, literally by just pressing a button. What? like, Like I said earlier, there's no obstacle, there's no villain to outwit or anything. We don't even have Haley's technobabble or anything. It's all just Tommy doing something and then pressing a button and the Demetrozord is friendly now. This was a kind of difficult episode to summarize because so much of it is just things happening, and there is one thing that's interesting here. If I didn't already know the outcome of everything in Dino Thunder, I would have thought that I would assume that this episode was setting up a reveal of who Elsa really was, her true identity, to the Rangers. Because there's so much interaction between Randall and the Rangers, I just figured, oh, this is going to be the time when she reveals herself or they figure it out, but nope. And I know it doesn't happen until way at the end, and it's a pretty dumb reason there. Oh yeah, and also, the Triptoids don't show up again. I really don't know why they bothered introducing them so early on when they weren't going to frickin' use them. Like, seriously, why don't they use the Triptoids? And I know someone out there is going to be like, "You're in Japanese footage and this is American footage." Yeah, but we have the suits. We have the Tyrannodrome suits and we have the Triptoid suits. What was wrong with mixing them? Like, they have the Triptoids. Send the Tyrannodrones and the Triptoids at the same time. I feel like that would work as like a gradual shift away from using the Tyrannodrones exclusively. That, like, first they use the Tyrannodrones, then they use the Tyrannodrones and the Triptoids, to slowly just using the Triptoids. As it is, they just have them lying around the island fortress somewhere, probably. The one other thing I wanted to talk about was the Demetrozord. When I had the old Game Boy Dino Thunder game, horrible game by the way, but the boss battles were fun, and the Demetrozord was my favorite Zord to use in the boss battles. So that's it for this one, hope you enjoyed it. Uh, Sorry for ragging on a fan favorite season. See ya.